Chapter 1. Avenger. At night, a bustling, restless second-tier city. The streets are filled with traffic. As night falls, many young people escape their stuffy rooms, savoring the time lavishly. Xiao crouches on the rooftop of a two-story villa, the night breeze cooling him. Xiao is dressed in black, with a wide black hood covering his head, hiding his figure in the rooftop's shadows. This outfit would feel stuffy even at night during the sweltering summer. But compared to his unfortunate experiences, this is nothing. He has waited here for 2 hours. At Xiao's age, he should be enjoying his university life, but 3 years ago, due to hatred, he gave up his studies to learn other skills. Human anatomy, combat, quick unlocking, and other knowledge. The long wait begins. 2 hours later, a black luxury car slowly drives into the villa's courtyard. The dull engine noise ceases, the car door opens, and a middle-aged man, reeking of alcohol, steps out of the car. Because of excessive drinking, the middle-aged man's steps are noticeably unsteady. On the villa rooftop, Xiao picks up a long knife beside him. The knife is unsheathed, its black blade blending with the night, making it hard to detect. He leaps nimbly from the 6-meter-high rooftop, his agile arms grabbing the villa's protruding corners, slowing his descent. Landing smoothly, Xiao stands directly in front of his nemesis. Without any words, Xiao's long knife slices through the air with a whimper, slashing the enemy's throat with a single strike. Blood spouts out. Although Xiao tries his best to evade, his sleeves and hands are still stained with blood. The drunken enemy doesn't even grasp what happened before collapsing to the ground. Such a wound is as good as death, so Xiao immediately runs towards a place with fewer people. In his peripheral vision, Xiao spots a uniformed security guard. Though caught in the act, it doesn't matter to him if he's seen, as he's disguised well. However, in the next moment, Xiao feels an icy chill. The security guard unexpectedly draws a gun from his waist, a black handgun, its long body clearly equipped with a silencer. How can a security guard have a gun? Xiao doesn't have time to think deeply. Behind is a villa at least tens of meters wide, and the guard is about 20 meters away. Choosing to flee would expose his back entirely to the enemy, making him an easy target. When faced with danger, Xiao's first response is to eliminate the source of the threat, never to flee. He strides forward, running in an S-shaped pattern to evade gunfire. Puff, puff, puff. The silencer-equipped handgun emits only soft gunshots. After charging about 5 meters forward, Xiao feels a numbness in his calf, followed by the same sensation in his chest. Xiao knows he's been shot. Though a revenge seeker, he's never been shot before. A powerless feeling spreads through his body, yet Xiao feels no fear, just a deep unwillingness. The revenge is not fulfilled, yet he has already fallen, killed by an unknown enemy. What a pitiful end. With his last ounce of strength, Xiao throws the long knife in his hand. This throw is more about fate, but heaven seems to notice Xiao's unwillingness and his unjust ordeal. The long knife spins rapidly in the air, miraculously piercing the armed guard's chest. Xiao, collapsed on the ground, smiles. That long knife was coated with a neurotoxin, a mixed type that guarantees the stabbed guard's death. His consciousness begins to fade, and Xiao feels a heavy blow to his head, after which everything turns black. In his last shred of awareness, Xiao vaguely hears. Hunter, Reincarnation Paradise, opens for you. Dash 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 dash. Body transmission in progress. 10%, 50%, 100%, transmission complete. Detected Hunter's body suffering massive damage, pending repair. Hunter's consciousness is not awake, repair command postponed, currently maintaining minimum survival state, maintenance for 10 minutes. Beep. Detected Hunter's talent is a growing talent, survival time extended by 2 hours. In the darkness, a few lines of pale blue text float midair, emitting a faint glow. Beneath the pale blue text, Xiao lies in the void, covered in blood. His fingers twitch, and Xiao gradually awakens. Upon waking, Xiao feels confused but promptly tries to stand up as he recalls the black muzzle. Agonizing pain strikes, and Xiao nearly faints again. With effort, he sits up, scanning his surroundings. Besides a few lines of flickering blue text, it's pitch black all around. Hunter, welcome to Reincarnation Paradise. A line of text suddenly appears before Xiao, but he doesn't look at it, instead, he checks his injuries. His calf is pierced, the wound's flesh turning up, fingers can easily reach into it. This gory sight only makes Xiao frown without any other reaction. He's experienced scenes 10 times more terrifying than this, so these can't shake him. The chest injury is more severe, but neither the leg nor chest wounds are bleeding anymore. I didn't die. Placing a hand on his chest, Xiao feels his heart beating vigorously. Hunter, you have not died. Are you willing to join Reincarnation Paradise? Here, you can have everything you desire. Xiao had already noticed the suspicious text, but out of caution for the unknown, he ignored it. The situation now seems bizarre. He suffered a mortal wound yet survived miraculously, and before him, a row of blood-red numbers is counting down. 1 hour 35 minutes and 10 seconds, 1:35, 9. 1 hour 35 minutes and 9 seconds. If Xiao's guess is correct, that's what the numbers signify, and they continue to count down steadily. This blood-red number gives Xiao an ominous feeling, as if when the number reaches 0, he will lose his life. Hunter, please communicate with Paradise promptly to sign the contract, or you will die in 1 hour and 35 minutes. Sure enough, the numbers represent the time he still has to live. Xiao had guessed this beforehand as his injuries were severe enough for inevitable death. Where's my knife? Xiao doesn't care about any contract or Paradise, he's demanding his knife back from the other side. The knife is the only memento left by his parents, supposedly a captured officer's knife by his great-grandfather, passed down to his generation. Most real-world items cannot be brought into Paradise. Please sign the contract promptly. Xiao falls silent, the pale blue text flashing, perhaps never encountering a hunter like Xiao. Contract. Let's hear it. What do I have to give, and what can I gain? The dwindling survival time leaves Xiao little room for delay, and he feels he might have encountered some supernatural event, stirring some inner turmoil. Xiao desperately needs power for revenge, and supernatural events, despite the tremendous risks, might grant extraordinary power. By signing the contract, you will traverse various derived planes to complete tasks issued by Reincarnation Paradise, gaining world source. Finally, the rewards will be constant based on the amount of world source. Reincarnation Paradise is omnipotent. A flood of text appears, and Xiao reads it carefully. Omnipotent. Can it revive the dead? All pale blue text suddenly freezes in midair, then disappears entirely. Given your status as a hunter, no. 1 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 2. Hunter. Hunter, this mysterious Reincarnation Paradise has called Xiao this from the beginning. This title made Xiao feel a bit strange because he didn't sign the so-called contract. What does this title of hunter represent? This question from Xiao caused a huge reaction from Reincarnation Paradise. Ordinary people become contractors after signing a contract and execute tasks for Paradise in exchange for rewards. So-called hunters are some specially gifted contractors whose talents are more suited for combat. While performing ordinary tasks, Paradise will also release hunter tasks to clear those abnormal contractors. Query limit reached. Paradise will no longer answer any questions from hunter, please sign the contract or wait for death. All the lights faded, and the surroundings became pitch black. An archaic-looking parchment jumped out in the void and hung midair. Xiao struggled to stand up and walk to the parchment. The parchment was full of strange symbols, with a large blank space at the bottom. Do you want to sign the contract? Yes, no. Xiao vaguely felt that if he signed this contract, his life would undergo earth-shaking changes. He had too many things to do, and even if there was an abyss ahead, he could only leap into it. I agree. As soon as Xiao finished speaking, his hand involuntarily lifted, and then his thumb pressed onto the blank space of the parchment. A piercing pain came from his fingertip, and a bright red blood stain soaked into the parchment, turning the whole parchment a light red with a hint of blood scent. Contract established. Begin repairing hunter's injuries. A faint green glow appeared around Xiao, clinging to his body, and within a few seconds, his injuries were completely healed. Injury repair completed, forcibly awakening hunter's talent. His body had just returned to normal, and before Su Xiao could relax, a wave of severe pain assaulted him from all parts of his body. The pain came very suddenly, causing all the blood vessels in Su Xiao's body to bulge. But Su Xiao's endurance was beyond ordinary, he only let out a muffled groan and fell to one knee. The pain came suddenly and disappeared just as quickly. Su Xiao realized that something seemed to awaken within him. The feeling wasn't abrupt, almost as if he inherently possessed this ability but had never realized it before. To display the comprehensive qualities of a hunter, directly, semi-digitalization has been activated. Warning: semi-digitalization serves as an auxiliary combat ability. If major organs like the heart and brain are severely damaged, Hunter will still die, so please cautiously deal with the derived plane. Hunter exclusive trial begins. If unable to complete the trial, Paradise will strip the Hunter identity, making one an ordinary contractor. If Hunter dies during the mission, death will be complete. Paradise rule: everything is an equivalent exchange. As soon as Su Xiao finished reading the text in front of him, he suddenly felt darkness come over him, and then he lost consciousness. Teleportation begins. Dash 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 dash. When Su Xiao woke up again, he found himself in a dilapidated house. The house was only a dozen square meters in size, and the roof was half collapsed, allowing sunlight to shine directly in. There were many cobwebs in the corners, covered in dust. The windows and doors were nowhere to be found, yet no light permeated the surroundings, only heaps of garbage were visible, some already flowing into the room through the doors and windows. This rundown room was buried in a massive pile of garbage, with only the roof as the exit. An acrid stench wafted through the air. Just as Su Xiao was about to leave, a burning sensation came from his arm. A black tattoo resembling a sharp sword appeared on his forearm. The pale blue text appeared again. But this time, instead of floating in the air, it appeared directly in his line of sight. No matter how he moved his perspective, the text remained static as if embedded in his retina. The text was as follows. World entered. One piece. World difficulty, LV.6. Nightmare. This difficulty is exclusive for Hunter's trial difficulty. World source. 0%. Hunter's exploration or communication with characters from the current world will increase the world source, which, when settling the world, combines with task difficulty to create the final rating. World overview. The sea, freedom, pirates, navy, world government. Main quest. Assassinate the Goa Kingdom, king. Side quest. None. Warning: do not mention anything about paradise in this world. Violations will be forcibly executed. Tip: this world is a high-level, derivative world, do not leave the Goa Kingdom area, or the world difficulty will greatly increase. Tip: since it's the first time Hunter enters a world, the language of this world is automatically mastered, valid for 3 natural days. World, begin. The text faded, and Su Xiao began to sort out the information he learned. First, he's come to a very mysterious place called Reincarnation Paradise, whose purpose he doesn't understand, but his purpose is clear: to gain power in the Reincarnation Paradise. Only with power can he exact revenge. Secondly is his current situation: he has actually arrived in the One Piece world. Although he seeks revenge, he would, in his free time, watch some anime to relax. A person can't be tense all the time. From Su Xiao's understanding of the pirate world, this is a high-risk world. In the later stages, those strong individuals could even submerge an island or single-handedly destroy a country. Although proficient in some killing techniques, Su Xiao here can only be considered an ordinary person. In such a world filled with non-human monsters, it can be said to be extremely difficult. The words, hell, in the world difficulty hint at this world's challenge. As for the final task given, Su Xiao was even more baffled. Assassinate the Goa Kingdom, king. Only these simple words, with no other clues. Just as Su Xiao was having a headache, an influx of information came from the sword-like tattoo on his arm. He could activate the branding with his consciousness, with the branding being the sword-like tattoo on his arm. This thing was very important, with many functions. Su Xiao tried activating the branding and succeeded easily. Several lines of text appeared before him. 1. Personal information. 2. Task. 3. Storage space. 4. Skills. 5. Equipment. Other functions not unlocked due to low tier. Su Xiao currently doesn't need anything besides the first item, personal information, and the second item, task. He urgently wanted to know the specific content of the task. Judging from the attitude of Reincarnation Paradise, shown earlier, it would not tolerate failure, as usual failure likely meant a dead end. Being downgraded to an ordinary contractor probably wasn't possible. Although only in brief contact, Su Xiao sensitively noticed the brutality of Reincarnation Paradise. Opening the task panel, the specific information of the task appeared. Main quest: assassinate the Goa Kingdom King. Difficulty level LV.3. Task overview: Goa Kingdom is located in the East Sea and governs nearby towns and villages, with Windmill Village and Mount Corvo nearby. Task information: use any method to kill the Goa Kingdom King, Philip Herbert, who resides in the royal palace for many years, making the assassination quite difficult. Task deadline: within 72 hours. Task reward: complete activation of hunter identity. Upon seeing the above information, Su Xiao finally understood whom he needed to kill in his location. No wonder there was so much garbage around. The place he was in should be the scrap end station, near Goa Kingdom, the mountain of garbage burned due to the arrival of the celestial dragons in the original story. The protagonist from the original story, Monkey D. Luffy, and important characters Ace and Sabo, lived in Mount Corvo during their childhood, along with a group of mountain thieves. I wonder what period it is now, whether the three brothers have set out to sea, or if they are still children. The capital of Goa Kingdom is near Mount Corvo, adjacent to the scrap end station he is at. These mountains of garbage around are produced by the capital of Goa Kingdom. Thinking of these, Su Xiao was instead in no hurry to leave. The scrap end station was filled with wandering refugees and was very dangerous. It would be better to understand the situation first before making plans. Closing the task panel, Su Xiao opened his personal information. 0 comments, 0 votes, send gifts. Chapter 3, Lone Wanderer. Personal information is as follows. Contractor number 13013. To protect the hunter, this is a false number, and the hunter cannot be locked by any means. Name: Su Xiao, Hunter. Level: LV.1. First tier. Every 10 levels is a tier. Level upgrading provides no attribute bonuses, and it corresponds to the hunter's permissions in Reincarnation Paradise, World Difficulty, Task Difficulty, etc. Life value: 100%. This attribute cannot be fully digitized, changing based on the degree of injury. Mana value: 60. Intelligence times 10. Current mana value recovery rate is 3 points per hour. Power: 6 related to attack power, carrying weight, etc. Agility: 7 related to movement, attack speed, etc. Stamina: 5 related to life value, defense, resistance to abnormality, etc. Intelligence: 6 related to magic damage, mana value, perception, etc. Charm: 3 related to social, summon, etc. Luck: 1 related to item opening, crafting, etc. This attribute is extremely difficult to improve. Please cherish the opportunity to improve it, Hunter. Note: the standard attribute of an adult male is 5 points, luck is 1 point. Slaughter talent: Soul Eater, after killing a target, will permanently seize 1 to 15 mana value points. This talent can seize a maximum of 100 mana value in each world. Personal information is for the convenience of the hunter to estimate his own strength, which is unrelated to real combat strength. The level of attribute values will affect the hunter's physical fitness, but combat is not only determined by physical fitness. Please be cautious, Hunter. After Su Xiao carefully reviewed it several times, he memorized his personal attributes. His current level is LV.1, the function of the level need not be said much, it corresponds to his permissions in Reincarnation Paradise. The One Piece world he has entered is of difficulty level 55.6, while his level is only LV.1, which indicates he is very dangerous in the pirate world. Under normal circumstances, Reincarnation Paradise would not teleport contractors to a world 5 levels higher. All this is related to his Hunter status. The so-called Hunter status, Su Xiao is still not sure of its benefits, but the disadvantage is clear, that is danger. Entering a LV.6 world, followed by taking on a LV.3 mission, while he is only LV.1, seems like the difficulty of this game is a bit high. And according to Reincarnation Paradise's introduction, in future worlds, he needs to help Reincarnation Paradise clear some abnormal contractors. This basically indicates he is inherently enemies with most contractors. Even if Xiao agrees to work on a task together, other contractors would not agree. Once his identity is discovered, they will unite to attack him. Who can be sure that their number is not among Xiao's assassination missions? As for the protection measures noted at the top, Xiao does not really trust Reincarnation Paradise, let alone the protection given by Reincarnation Paradise. But there is also good news, all his attributes are superior to the ordinary, which is the result of his hard training. Although such physical fitness is not much in the pirate world, it does give him a higher starting point. Xiao's strength is definitely not just what his attributes display, he also has a expertise, which is he knows how to fight, and is willing to fight. Although he does not have the kind of mind that sees through everything, he has a heart that does not fear injury or death. It's not that he is completely unafraid, just compared to ordinary people, he is more courageous, daring to do some dangerous things. This courage is Xiao's capital in Reincarnation Paradise, to venture around. Sometimes, a brave heart is far more important than a strong body. Then, let me see just how dangerous this pirate world really is. Xiao briskly charged forward a few steps, stepping on the corner of the window ledge, leaping up, extending his arms to grab the edge of the roof, then exerting force with his arms, pulling his whole body upwards, his upper body emerging from a hole in the ceiling. As Xiao was about to check the situation outside, a crisp sound came. Bang! It was a gunshot, somewhat dull gunshots. Xiao immediately made a judgment. Withdrawing his body behind the wall, hands tightly holding the roof edge, Xiao's head slowly peered out to observe the outside situation. Bang! 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 The gunshots were rattling outside continuously. From Xiao's observations, this should be two factions in a firefight at Scrap End Station. Both sides have dozens of people, engaging in a medium-range gun battle. Xiao noticed that both sides' clothing were very shabby, and they were all emaciated, presumably refugees from Scrap End Station. Toby, this territory is ours. What do you mean by this? We are all the poor scavengers. Do you intend to wipe us out completely? The gunfire subsided a bit, and both sides began to argue loudly. Your territory? I now have a dozen guns. From now on I call the shots here. Once I've saved enough belly, I'll take people to sea, then I will become a pirate. Roger, put down your weapons, and I will give you a chance to join. Before Toby finished his words, he was interrupted by a gunshot, pulling his head back behind a pile of trash. From the broken house, Xiao happened to see the man speaking, a burly bearded man, with a grimace standing behind a pile of trash. It seemed he didn't want to accept the others' surrender, but to wipe them out. This burly bearded man named Toby, unlike those emaciated refugees, he was tall with muscular knots all over his body. Xiao sighed inwardly, finally realizing how dangerous an LV.6 world is. If he had rushed out previously, he would definitely become honeycombed with bullets, and this was just the beginning. It should be even more dangerous later. Just as Xiao waited for both groups to disperse, a nimble figure suddenly leapt into the house he was in from the roof. Who, so close, finally found a safe. The newcomer spoke halfway and saw Xiao clinging to the wall. Well, just as the other was about to speak, Xiao had already released his grip from the roof edge, his body freely falling down. After landing, Xiao lowered his body, his foot pushed off the ground, a few pieces of dead leaves splashing up, he pounced towards the other like an agile leopard. The other just wanted to explain something, but it was too late. Xiao first punched the other's lower abdomen, he could clearly feel the other's lower abdomen denting under the punch. The newcomer bent down in pain, about to cry out, but Xiao's hand had already covered the other's mouth and nose, only a muffled grunt came out. That was not the end. Xiao held the other's mouth with one hand, the other palm flat, hand like a sharp blade, his fingertips brutally jabbing at the other's chest. Dong! The unique dull sound of a chest being struck heavily resounded. Xiao could feel the other's body softening, with eyes displaying panic collapsing down, only a soft murmur coming out. Woman, The reason he did so was because he could not determine whether the other was friend or foe, better to subdue first. No, don't hurt me. A voice as soft as a mosquito's buzz came. Su Xiao looked up and down at the newcomer. Messy black hair, her face was full of dust, but the face not covered by dust was very fair, her flaxen-colored clothes were very loose, showing that her body was very thin, and she was not very old. Who are you? Su Xiao could roughly guess her purpose, probably coming to take refuge. My name is Mia, I really have no malice, please don't hurt me. Mia's voice was very small. Having her heart struck heavily, the fact that Mia did not faint was already indicative of a strong constitution. In the short term, she lacked the ability to move freely. Don't make a sound, or I'll kill you. If it comes to a life-threatening situation, Su Xiao would kill, he still had a blood feud unavenged. Gulu. 15, 16-year-old Mia swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Okay, I just want to take refuge, I won't make a sound. Mia suddenly felt that staying with this man in front of her was no safer than outside. The gunfire outside gradually subsided, the chaos should end soon. Su Xiao was waiting, as soon as the chaos outside ended, he would go out. While this was dangerous, it was also an opportunity, he desperately needed a weapon. At the start, having empty hands, not to mention a decent weapon, there wasn't even a wooden stick near Su Xiao. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Pissed. Download the app for additional rewards. More events, more perks. Winning you more free perks. Download now. Download app now. Chapter 4. Weapon and Currency. The gunfire gradually subsided, and the wails of the wounded could be heard. Su Xiao, observing in the shadows, felt that the timing was ripe. Toby, the brawny man, had already repelled the enemy scavengers. The scavengers fought without strategy, and after a chaotic burst of shooting, they began to chase wildly. Flipping out of the house, Su Xiao landed steadily but immediately crouched down. What appeared before him was an endless mountain of trash, with blue smoke rising from it, and a stench assaulting his nostrils. Su Xiao ignored the smell, his eyes fixed on a flintlock gun on the ground in the distance. It was a short-handled flintlock gun, somewhat worn, but still a deadly weapon. The owner of the short-handled flintlock gun was already dead, with part of his throat blasted away by stray bullets, a gruesome death. Perhaps the location of the death was hidden, as Toby's forces had not discovered this gun. Otherwise, in the weapon-scarce, scrap-end station, this, short-handled flintlock gun, would not have been left here. Lowering his body, Su Xiao began moving towards the gun. But at that moment, a skinny scavenger rushed to the short-handled flintlock gun, his filthy hands reaching for the gun. Su Xiao frowned, not because the other had taken the initiative, but because he feared the attention it might draw from the two factions. Picking up a fist-sized rock, Su Xiao hurled it with all his might. The rock flew with great force, striking the scavenger's arm hard. Thud! The scavenger staggered, letting out a painful howl. Su Xiao rushed behind the scavenger, sidestepping as he drove his knee into the scavenger's spine. The scavenger's body arched forward, spitting out a stream of bitter water, but even after such a heavy hit, the scavenger only stumbled forward a couple of steps and did not fall. Su Xiao's pupils contracted. The physical strength of humans in the One Piece world was astonishing, and this was the weakest of the scavengers. But there was no time to think about that. Su Xiao noticed that the scavenger's eyes had turned fierce, like an enraged beast, with yellow teeth clenched tightly and jaw muscles protruding. This ferocious expression would make an ordinary person instinctively retreat, but not Su Xiao. He had combat experience and knew that if he fled now, he'd be shot in the back. Clenching his fist, Su Xiao struck the scavenger's jaw before he could recover. The human jaw is filled with blood vessels, and a sudden blow can block blood flow to the brain, causing oxygen deprivation and brief unconsciousness. Thud! Several blood-stained yellow teeth flew far away. After taking Su Xiao's full-force punch, the scavenger toppled backward like a felled wooden stick. An ordinary person hit in the jaw would be unconscious for dozens of seconds, but the natives of the One Piece world had mysteriously strong bodies, so Su Xiao turned the scavenger over and punched him in the back of the neck. With a dull thud, the scavenger's fate was uncertain. Su Xiao grabbed the short-handled flintlock gun from the ground, and a line of text appeared before him. Before Su Xiao could check, a large group of people approached from afar. It was Toby's forces, whose pursuit had failed. Su Xiao felt a chill in his heart. If discovered now, he might not even have a chance to speak before being shot to death. These people were already bloodthirsty. Looking around quickly, Su Xiao's expression was grim. He was surrounded by towering trash mountains, which were circular and obscured the surroundings. Su Xiao did not dare climb the highly unstable trash mountains, which could collapse at any moment, hiding who knows what kind of hazards. A single scratch from a sharp object in such an environment could mean death from blood loss or infection. So Su Xiao could only retreat into the dilapidated house, where the girl named Mia looked at him with fear. This time, Su Xiao didn't need to prompt her. Mia spoke first. "I won't say a word." Realizing she had already spoken, Mia quickly covered her mouth with her hands, glancing at the short-handled flintlock gun in Su Xiao's hands. Shortly after Su Xiao entered the house, noise erupted outside. After a burst of angry cursing, the outside gradually quieted down. It seemed those people had returned to scavenge for supplies, but judging by the voices filled with rage, the haul wasn't good. Su Xiao breathed a sigh of relief and began to review the earlier notification. Obtained, Old Flintlock Pistol White. Old Flintlock Pistol White. Origin, 1 piece, Leopold Workshop. Durability, 6/30. Loaded shots, 4/6. Repeating flintlock guns are unique to the one-piece world. Attack power, 2 to 13 calculated based on distance. Equipment requirements, 1 point of strength to use, more than 3 points of strength for flexible use. Rating, 3. Note, white equipment rating ranges from 1 to 10, and white equipment with a rating of 10 will be marked as rare, with additional special attributes. Description, this is a poorly maintained flintlock gun, causing its rating to drop from 9 points to 3. Use it with caution, as the next shot might be its last, as well as yours. Price, 150 Paradise Coins. This item is a chance-based pickup and cannot be taken out of the one-piece world. Hunter acquires equipment for the first time, introducing equipment levels. Equipment is divided into white, green, blue. Information is unavailable due to insufficient tier position. Please explore on your own. Hunter first contacts Paradise Coins, starting Paradise Coin explanation. Paradise Coins can be used for transactions with Reincarnation Paradise or other contractors, serving as the sole common currency in Reincarnation Paradise. Warning, please use each Paradise Coin cautiously, as they are your capital for survival or becoming stronger. Su Xiao nodded thoughtfully. It seemed that Reincarnation Paradise had strict systems, not only marking the performance of various weapons but also having a complete currency mechanism. Although Su Xiao knew he would face many dangers ahead, he felt some anticipation, hoping that Reincarnation Paradise would make him stronger. Even though he did not yet know the method to become stronger, there had to be a way in Reincarnation Paradise, otherwise, he wouldn't be able to complete more challenging tasks in the future. After examining the old flintlock pistol in his hand, Su Xiao smiled. Finally, he had a weapon. Otherwise, in this perilous world, he couldn't feel at ease. But compared to guns, Su Xiao preferred cold weapons, like knives, with slender and extraordinarily sharp blades. If he had his sword with him, his combat strength would increase by at least 50%. Su Xiao had grasped the basic situation, and now he needed to prepare to complete the task, with only 72 hours for the mission. He did not want to find out what happens if he failed, so he could only fully commit himself to completing the task. Killing a country's king was definitely not a simple matter, requiring some other tactics, at least to get close to the king. The idea of secretly infiltrating the royal palace had never crossed Su Xiao's mind, because in the pirate world, there was something called observation hockey. Based on Su Xiao's memory, this king was likely connected to the world aristocrat celestial dragon people, making it possible for masters skilled in observation hockey to be around. Otherwise, given Su Xiao's assassination skills, the difficulty of killing a king would not be LV.3. In a reality filled with surveillance equipment, Su Xiao could still execute his revenge plan, much less in the technologically backward pirate world. But it was too early to think about those. The priority was understanding his current location, as Reincarnation Paradise didn't have a map feature, leaving everything for him to figure out on his own. Su Xiao's gaze turned to the girl hiding in the corner. She lived in the scrap end station, and must be familiar with the place. Upon sensing Su Xiao's gaze, the girl Mia curled up. What are you going to do? The girl's voice trembled slightly, with a hint of sobbing. She had been hiding her gender, because in the scrap end station, being a woman was extremely dangerous. Are you hungry? Su Xiao squatted in front of the girl, showing a gentle smile, but there was a certain coldness in his eyes. He was not a kind person, hatred had long erased any kindness in his heart. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 5, Gunfire. Mia nodded, but then immediately shook her head. In the scrap end station, the most scarce thing is food. The drifters who don't think of producing and live only by scavenging are mostly hovering on the brink of starvation. Su Xiao took out a few pieces of compressed biscuits from his arms, which were his emergency food carried with him. He had observed that there was a forest in the distance of the scrap end station. He had a gun in his hand and wouldn't worry about food. Mia took a piece of compressed biscuit with some fear, as she had never seen such food before. Under Su Xiao's guidance, Mia peeled off the compressed biscuit and carefully took a bite. Delicious. The girl, who had been hungry all day, began to gobble it up. Your name is Mia, right? Take me out of here, and these biscuits are all yours. Mia, who had finished the compressed biscuit in her hand, stared straight at the remaining biscuits in Su Xiao's hand, swallowing her saliva. All right, but you can't hurt me. Su Xiao did not answer her but flipped out of the dilapidated house, with a somewhat recovered Mia following closely. Where are you going? You are not a resident of the scrap end station, right? Su Xiao suddenly stopped, a cold glint appearing in his eyes, and he threw a piece of compressed biscuit on the ground, stomping it into pieces. Take me out of here and don't ask anything else. If the girl Mia showed any abnormal behavior, Su Xiao's hand holding the gun would be aimed at Mia's forehead. Mia was startled by Su Xiao's actions and took a few steps back. Okay, all right. Mia dared not say more and walked quickly in the front. Take me to the entrance of the Goa Kingdom. Su Xiao cautiously surveyed the surroundings, occasionally seeing drifters with fierce intent in their eyes. When those drifters noticed the gun in Su Xiao's hand, they immediately retracted their greedy gazes. Recalling the intelligence obtained from the anime, Su Xiao began to think about the next plan. The so-called scrap end station is actually a large garbage dump. Because the Goa Kingdom dumps a large amount of domestic waste outside the city, it has led to the current situation. Those drifters with fierce looks were originally residents of the Goa Kingdom. They were either guilty of serious crimes or offended the nobles and were driven here. After the garbage decays, it produces a kind of toxic cyan smoke, which spreads in the scrap end station, constantly corroding the lives of the drifters. The most obvious manifestation is that Su Xiao's life value has dropped from 100% to 98%. In the scrap end station, there are no doctors, no food, and crime and disease are rampant. This is a lawless zone, where everything depends on the strength and power. With Mia leading the way, Su Xiao quickly walked out of the scrap end station, and came to a high wall. The high wall built of black stone stood towering, and a not very large city gate appeared in Su Xiao's view. This is as far as I can take you. The Goa Kingdom has laws, and drifters can't enter the city. Once discovered, they will be executed. Although Mia was talking to Su Xiao, her eyes were always staring at the compressed biscuits in Su Xiao's hand. Throwing the compressed biscuits to Mia, Su Xiao ignored her, and Mia quickly ran away. She only led the way for the temptation of food, nothing more. The gate of the Goa Kingdom was wide open, with several guards standing on either side. This is just a side door, used for convenient garbage dumping. Although those guards seemed lazy, a cold glint occasionally flashed in their eyes. These guards must often kill people, killing the drifters attempting to break into the city. Su Xiao hid to the side and did not rush to enter the city. He was waiting for an opportunity. It was impossible to confront those guards head-on. The residents of the pirate world were abnormally strong. The girl Mia could recover in a short time after being struck heavily, which made Su Xiao vigilant. Su Xiao guessed that those guards' attributes were at least above 10 points, possibly even higher. An hour passed, then 2, and until 3 hours later, it was already noon. The temperature quickly rose, the weather became hot, and the opportunity Su Xiao was waiting for finally appeared. A carriage full of domestic waste drove out of the city, the stench spreading far and wide. The guards didn't even glance at the carriage and instinctively stepped back a few steps. "Gentlemen, do you need an inspection?" The coachman stopped the carriage, somewhat intimidated by those guards. "Hurry up and go, it stinks." The guards waved their hands in annoyance, without any intention to inspect. Seeing this scene from a distance, Xiao raised an eyebrow and quickly followed the carriage. After the carriage went deep into the garbage mountain, it found an open space and began to dump the waste. The previously meek coachman suddenly had a dagger at his waist. Weak prey for the strong, that's the rule of the scrap end station. Lighting a cigarette to cover the stench, the coachman picked up a shovel and began to clean the dirty carriage. When the coachman was busy sweating, Xiao approached silently like a wild cat. Just as Xiao was ready to knock out the coachman, he stepped on a half-broken glass cup. Crack, a crisp sound came, and the coachman's body trembled. Xiao was also startled. In this dirty, scrap-end station, there was a deep layer of waste underfoot, very soft and unable to detect anything below. But with the bow fully drawn, Xiao had no choice but to charge forward. That coachman wasn't a kind person either. He turned and drew the dagger at his waist, stabbing directly at Xiao. The coachman's vicious expression made Xiao realize that the other party wanted his life. Xiao's eyes turned cold. In this mission world, it's either you die or I perish. Mercy to the enemy is cruelty to oneself. Raising the flintlock gun in his hand, Xiao aimed the muzzle at the coachman's head. If an ordinary person were held at gunpoint, they would definitely stop or retreat immediately, but this coachman was different, he rushed even faster. Xiao expressionlessly pulled the trigger. The hammer collided with the flint, sparks flared, the gunpowder inside the barrel ignited, and in the narrow space, a lot of gunpowder was ignited, bursting forth with strong kinetic energy. As flames and smoke erupted, the bullet in the barrel shot out. Bang! Thick smoke rose, and an acrid smell of gunpowder spread. A lead bullet directly penetrated the coachman's skull. The coachman's forward momentum stopped abruptly, being pushed 2 meters back, his body twitching twice before dying. Hint: you killed a black market merchant. Your talent, Soul Eater, activates, permanently increasing mana value by 5 points, current mana value is 65 points. You obtain treasure chest white. This is your first kill, storage space unlocked 2 cubic meters. After returning to Reincarnation Paradise, storage space can be upgraded in size with Paradise coins. The hint from Reincarnation Paradise lets Xiao know that this was not just a coachman but a black market merchant, probably using the coachman's identity to conduct some kind of transaction in the scrap end station. After the black market merchant died, a wooden box floated above the corpse. The whole box was white, only the size of a palm. Xiao attempted to pick up the floating wooden box. Although it was only palm-sized, it was heavy in hand. Treasure chest white, open or not? Xiao did not open treasure chest, instead placing treasure chest and old flintlock pistol into the storage space. With a thought, old flintlock pistol appeared in his hand. Xiao was very satisfied with the new storage space. It was a very practical function. If used well, such ability would greatly help him complete tasks. This place was not safe, so Xiao chose not to open treasure chest white. If the treasure chest opened and emitted a brilliant light, he would be in danger. The priority now was to enter the capital city of the Goa Kingdom. Xiao took off his coat, changing into the clothes of the black market merchant. After some hesitation, he directly lay down in the water-stained ground. A foul smell came, and large areas of sewage stained his clothes and face, making it impossible to see his appearance. Sitting at the front of the carriage, Xiao clumsily manipulated the horses, heading towards the city. At this point, he held a dagger in his hand, exactly the dagger that the black market merchant wielded, but the dagger was somewhat different from what he imagined. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Modified. Chapter 6. This is the real world. When Xiao previously obtained the old flintlock pistol, he received a lot of prompts. But the knife he got did not come with any hints, no detailed information, and it didn't show whether it could be sold. This led Xiao to speculate that the old flintlock pistol he obtained earlier was partly a matter of luck, and possibly deliberately arranged by Reincarnation Paradise. The implication being that he could acquire weapons, but would need to take on certain risks, which should be the law of Reincarnation Paradise. However, the knife he held clearly did not fall within this category. The knife was very sharp, he could use it, but he couldn't take it out of the pirate world, nor exchange it for paradise coins. Which is only reasonable. If anything could be sold for paradise coins, then the currency mechanism of Reincarnation Paradise would just be a joke. Driving the somewhat disobedient horse, Xiao gradually approached the city gates, the few guards already appearing in his line of sight. Having suddenly changed owners, the old horse was understandably a bit unresponsive, making Xiao uneasy. He'd never maneuvered a horse before, but with the guards right in front of him, retreating was not an option. A pull on the reins, the horse snorted and stopped in place. Xiao actively stopped for inspection. Based on his guess, it's relatively lax when leaving the city, but entering the city would not be as simple. Several guards stepped forward, seemingly lazy in demeanor, yet their eyes were as sharp as birds of prey. What's going on, coming back to the city so early today? The familiar tone of the guard made Xiao's hair stand on end. These guards might know the identity of that black market merchant, and there might even be an interest relationship between them, making the situation tricky. Sir, I just left the city today, and it was robbed by Toby's forces. Xiao's voice was very vague, accompanied by frequent dry heaving. His voice differed from that of the coachman, so he deliberately did this. With the stench of sewage on his clothes, the guards did not suspect, they even stepped back a bit from Xiao. What, Toby, are they courting death, even daring to rob you? Does he not know your identity? The guard in front of Xiao was clearly a bit angry, but another guard beside him said, Boss, recently Toby's forces have expanded rapidly. According to my informants, Toby has just destroyed Roger's forces. Aside from the Balsam Pirate Gang, no force at Scrap End Station surpasses Toby. Just let it go like this. What about the money? The guards exchanged glances, each carrying some resentment in their eyes, but they didn't have a solution for Toby, hidden within Scrap End Station. Never mind, if this happens again, don't bother coming back, just, live, at Scrap End Station. Xiao feigned a submissive nod, but his eyes remained very calm. The more it comes to a critical moment, the calmer you must be, as many failures occur right before success due to complacency. Driving the horse forth, the brown old horse grudgingly moved forward. Just before Xiao left, a guard bent down to peek under the carriage, ensuring no one was hiding underneath, a common method for vagrants entering the city. Xiao never considered hiding under the carriage, choosing instead to eliminate the coachman directly and take his place, a risky method, but one that exploited a blind spot in the guard's inspection. The garbage truck gradually passed through the city gates, moving steadily forward, 3 meters, 5 meters, 10 meters. Carlos, wait, a guard's call came from behind, causing Xiao's pupils to contract for a moment but quickly return to normal. I've arranged your nephew's matter, with enough sincerity, he can report to the guard team today. The guard raised one hand high, thumb and middle finger rubbing together, indicating that the so-called sincerity referred to money. Xiao hurriedly nodded, gesturing to thank, but continued to emit dry heaving sounds. Hurry up and go, it's really stinking, I can smell it from this distance. Such an opportunity wouldn't be missed by Xiao. He picked up the whip from beside him, cracking it on the old horse's buttocks. Smack! The sharp sound echoed, the old horse neighed mournfully, and its pace visibly quickened. The infiltration succeeded, Xiao safely blended into the royal capital of the Goa kingdom. Though he had safer methods of infiltrating the capital, they required time, which was currently not on his side. Moreover, from the guard's casual words, he acquired much useful information. First, the current time is before the main protagonist Monkey D. Luffy goes to sea in the original work, meaning during Luffy's childhood, or Luffy hasn't even been born. The basis for this conclusion was from the guard's mention of the Balsam Pirate Gang. If Xiao remembered correctly, the Balsam Pirate Gang is the pirate group in the original story that battled in a fire with young Luffy, Ace, and others. In the original, the Balsam Pirate Gang was used by the King of Goa Kingdom, who personally ignited Scrap End Station and abandoned them to perish in the fire. The second was an unexpected gain, perhaps the key to Xiao's mission success. The guard's earlier words sparked joy in Xiao's heart. I've arranged your nephew's matter, with enough sincerity, he can report to the guard team today. It seems that the deceased black market merchant and the guards made some deal, buying a position in the guard team with money. If Su Xiao impersonated the nephew to enter the guard team, it would mean he'd be one step closer to his assassination target. Though risky, it was still the best option given the Reincarnation Paradise hadn't arranged an identity for him, making him a foreigner without a record. Su Xiao drove the carriage along the streets of the royal capital of Goa Kingdom. Being in the outer layer of the capital, it was just a residential area for commoners. The streets in the civilian area were relatively clean, with stalls lining the sides hawking their goods. Large groups of civilians leisurely traversed the streets, making the entire city look bustling, though some had worried expressions and hurried demeanor. The only difference between these civilians and the vagrants outside the walls was that they wouldn't starve, but they also struggled to make ends meet. The pirate world was amidst turbulent times, replete with war and roaming pirates, making civilians' living conditions relatively impoverished. Walking through the bustling streets, Su Xiao felt as if he'd crossed worlds, as if it wasn't a mission world, but a real one, full of blood and breath, not just NPCs. The guard's earlier vigilance showed that underestimating anyone could be detrimental. If Su Xiao hadn't been thoroughly prepared and quick-witted, he might have been exposed. In the mission world, never underestimate anyone, Su Xiao silently cautioned himself. But now the primary matter was to find a place to clean his body, and to open the treasure chest he obtained earlier, utilizing every available resource. As an LV.1 Su Xiao, it was truly difficult to navigate in this LV.6 nightmare difficulty world. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 7. Reference letter. The scorching sun blazed down on the earth, with temperatures soaring up to 30 degrees, causing pedestrians on the streets to gradually become sparse. Su Xiao walked down the street under the blazing sun, and people around him frowned, looking at him with some disdain. The carriage had already been dealt with by Su Xiao, and the horse was sold at a low price. After counting the banknotes in his hand, Su Xiao sighed. This currency, called belly, brought him 100,000 belly for selling the horse. It sounds a lot, but in reality, it's equivalent to only about 6,000 RMB in purchasing power. Do not overestimate this 100,000 belly, its purchasing power is far less than imagined. After trying it himself, Su Xiao found that buying a decent set of clothes would cost 8,000 belly, and to have a hearty meal would take about 900 belly. Scanning his surroundings and finding no one around, Su Xiao slowly approached a residential house. Though it seemed like a random choice, he had been observing this house for a while. The house wasn't very tidy, but there were no vine plants climbing on the walls, indicating that someone lived there, and its facilities were intact. The fine layer of dust on the doorknob indicated that the house owner didn't often return, it was only occasionally visited, making it an excellent temporary shelter for him. The reason for not staying in places like inns or taverns was that those places were mixed with different kinds of people, very likely to cause unnecessary trouble. He came to the pirate world to complete a mission, and now the mission deadline was only 68 hours away. Apart from what the mission entailed, he didn't intend to have much contact with people. Interacting with too many unknown people equals trouble equals unknown danger. Once again ensuring no one was around, Su Xiao took out some simple lock-picking tools. Click, click, crack. The door opened in response. Su Xiao had learned lock-picking skills, and the simplistic locks in the pirate world were merely child's play for him. Entering as if it were his own home, Su Xiao went inside the house and made sure the door was closed tight. Upon entering, as he expected, the room was empty. The house was over 100 square meters, and a photo hung on the wall, displaying a man, a woman, and a young girl. Judging from the woman's sincere smile, it was a happy family. Su Xiao quickly stripped off his clothes and rushed to the bathroom. Though his endurance was astonishing, the stench on him made him nauseous. Clear water flowed over his head, washing away the grime and stench, and putting on new clothes, Su Xiao felt completely refreshed. Sitting on the sofa, a white treasure chest suddenly appeared in Su Xiao's hand. Treasure chest white, open or not? Choosing to open, the treasure chest in his hand opened silently, without a dazzling glow or even making any sound. You opened the treasure chest white and obtained the following items. Belly, 500,000, usable only in this world. Recommendation letter from City Gate Guard Captain Rowan. 100 paradise coins. Only 3 items were obtained. The rewards were not bountiful, but not bad either. After all, it was just a white treasure chest. According to Reincarnation Paradise's Item levels, white treasure chests were the lowest level. First, he put away the belly, as it wasn't needed yet. Xiao picked up the letter. Recommendation letter from City Gate Guard Captain Rowan. Quality, white, type, trigger item, rating, 5. Item ratings are the same as equipment ratings. 1 to 10, the higher the rating, the more valuable the item. Description. This is an impassioned recommendation letter, where Captain Rowan abuses his authority to recommend a bully from Windmill Village as a member of the guard team. With this letter, anyone can become a member of the guard team, provided they are male and have sufficient belly in hand. After reading the letter's description, Xiao showed a hint of joy. This was exactly what he wanted. Since he couldn't assassinate the king directly, at least he needed to meet the person. The task difficulty at nightmare level couldn't be solved by brute force alone. Xiao stored all the items in the storage space and left the residence immediately. First, he found a restaurant and had a hearty meal, then he began to pay attention to patrolling guards on the streets. What they called the guard team should be the ones patrolling the streets and punishing petty thefts. Although their power wasn't huge, it was still a department under the Goa Kingdom. After following a few guards, Xiao soon found the guard headquarters, which was a 2-story office building with 2 guards standing lazily at the door. With the recommendation letter in hand, Xiao walked directly forward. Stop right there, this is the guard team, don't wander around. A young guard spoke rudely and, upon seeing Xiao dressed like a commoner, had an arrogant tone. I'm a new guard. Xiao was about to state his name but immediately thought that his name was somewhat incongruent in the pirate world. Quickly thinking, Xiao continued. I'm the new guard, Bai Yi. The young guard was stunned, sizing Xiao up and down. Bai Yi, how come I haven't heard about a newcomer? You're not thinking of sneaking in? Li, remember what the captain mentioned earlier, don't ask too much. Bai Yi, come with me. An older guard glared at the young guard and then led Xiao into the guard headquarters behind him. The young guard gave Xiao a resentful look and mumbled something. Being uninterested in trivial roles like that, Xiao followed the older guard to the office. Ahem, the older guard straightened his body, tidied up his appearance, and was just about to knock on the office door when a voice came from inside. The older guard put his hand down and stood quietly to the side. Knocking on the door at this moment would obviously be inappropriate as it might disturb the superior's mood. The older guard gave an apologetic smile to Xiao. Since Xiao was under special consideration from higher up, the older guard didn't want to offend him either. Xiao and the older guard walked aside, and he took out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, handing one to the older guard. Pa, the cigarette lit up as the two chatted idly in the corridor. Even though it was just a cigarette, it could build a flimsy friendship, so why not? You're quite lucky, having higher up looking after you. Don't worry, someone has already made arrangements for you to join the guard team. No problem at all. Oh, and I'm Hank. From now on, we're colleagues. Xiao smiled humbly but his eyes remained void of any change in emotion. I'm Bai Yi, pleased to meet you. As Xiao spoke, he stuffed the remaining cigarettes in his hand into Hank's jacket pocket. He was already considering whether this guard before him had any usefulness, as he was currently clueless about the situation in the royal capital, which made Hank very valuable to him. Hank's smile visibly showed more pleasure. It took Hank quite a while before he knocked on the door. Who is it? Get in here. A rough voice emanated from the office. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 8. Dragon Slashing Blade. Hank showed a fawning smile as he pushed open the office door. Boss, it's me, Hank. Xiao followed closely behind and entered the office. Hank, is it? At least you had the sense not to interrupt my leisure time. Speak up, what's the matter? In the office sat a burly man with a bare chest. His shiny bald head and fierce demeanor made it clear he was no weakling. This is Bai Yi, the newcomer. He comes highly recommended by that person. Here's the letter. The strong man glanced at Xiao, took the recommendation letter, briefly skimmed it, and then tore it to pieces. The initial price was 200,000 belly, but with big events looming, the situation is tense. So, at the very least, it's 400,000 belly now. Xiao maintained his smiling demeanor. Though weak for now, he had to hide his true feelings. Even though he was tempted to pull a gun on the strong man and ask him how much it really cost. He directly handed over 400,000 belly to the strong man without uttering a word. Su Xiao's straightforward approach made the strong man's eyebrows twitch. No wonder you're, from that side, you're so generous. From now on, you're one of the guard team. Remember to call me boss, or sir. Su Xiao continued to smile, but there was something eerie about his smile. Alright, boss. Successfully joining the guard team meant he was one step closer to completing the task of assassinating the king. Hank, standing to the side, kept his head down and his eyes fixed on the floor, as if there was something interesting there. In truth, he was only conveying his stance, implying he didn't see his superior accepting a bribe. This incident highlighted the chaos in the pirate world. As long as you have money, even higher positions can be bought. For Su Xiao, this was undoubtedly good news. Belly didn't mean much to him. What he lacked most now was time, and any problem that could be solved with belly wasn't a problem at all. Tip: the hunter has joined the guard team, causing minor changes in the plot and gaining 2.1% of world source. After leaving the office, Su Xiao received the standard guard team equipment, a uniform and a matchlock gun. In the warehouse, Su Xiao looked somewhat speechlessly at the crude matchlock gun in his hand and glanced at Hank. Hank, could I switch to another weapon? Hank displayed a look of difficulty. Well, these are designated supplies, I too. That stammering tone made Su Xiao realize that the guy in front of him was seeking a benefit. Without much ado, he slipped 30,000 belly into Hank's pocket, changing Hank's expression into a broad smile. We're all colleagues, we can discuss our difficulties. You can choose your own weapon, but only one. That's a rule no one can change. Su Xiao placed the matchlock gun down and searched through the warehouse. There were various weapons inside, and soon his gaze landed on a long knife. The knife was over a meter long with a blade about 3 centimeters wide and a slight curve. Although not as good as Su Xiao's usual blade, it was still a decent weapon. This one. Su Xiao picked up the knife and sheathed it. As soon as he touched it, Reincarnation Paradise displayed a prompt. Hey, you can take any other weapon, but not that knife. Hank's expression turned cold, as if he hadn't just received 30,000 belly. What did you say? Su Xiao held the knife and turned his head to look at Hank, icy glints flickering in his eyes. Constantly giving in only made others think he was weak and easy to bully. Hank noticed Su Xiao's gaze, and his expression turned to surprise as a chill surged through him. This guy had killed before, and not just one person. Hank's mind was in turmoil. He wanted to confront Su Xiao on the spot, but the Su Xiao holding a sharp blade made Hank extremely apprehensive. Hank, let's not worry about these things. We're friends, aren't we? Su Xiao pointed the hilt of the knife towards Hank's chest. Either take the money and keep quiet, or Su Xiao would cut Hank down then and there. These were the only two choices because this long knife would be of great help in completing his mission. Moreover, what was already in hand, Su Xiao wouldn't abandon due to a mere threat. Su Xiao believed that even if he killed Hank, as long as he bribed that strong man with enough money, the man would turn a blind eye. This matter is for you and me to know, and this knife is a token of friendship. Hank patted Su Xiao's shoulder cordially, signaling his surrender, and the tense atmosphere in the warehouse dissipated. I've just arrived in the royal capital today and need to get to know some things, so we're friends now. Su Xiao sighed inwardly. If even an ordinary guard was this hard to deal with, what kind of enemies would he face when he got close to the king? This sense of challenge made Su Xiao's heart beat faster, and his blood surged through his body. He began to relish this feeling. The fighting instinct within him was gradually being awakened. The reason Su Xiao was so determined also had a reason. Previously, when he touched the long knife, Reincarnation Paradise had given him a prompt. Acquired Dragon Slash White Katakana Middle. Rare. Origin: 1 piece, Steel Melting Ironsmith Shop. Durability: 35/40/5. This weapon has suffered serious damage, durability -5. Attack power: 5 to 16 calculated based on slicing power strength. Equipment requirements: strength 2 points to use, more than 5 points of strength for flexible use. Rating: 10. Note: white equipment ratings range from 1 to 10. White equipment rated 10 is marked rare, and has additional special attributes. Additional attribute: Dragon's Majesty. While holding this weapon, enemies will experience a fear effect. Fear effect reduces enemy morale. Description: this was once the blade of dragon-slaying swordsman Longma in his youth, but it was significantly damaged, lowering its grade after restoration. Later, after Longma acquired the black blade katakana middle. Autumn water, this weapon remained in Longma's room, and upon his death, it did not qualify to accompany him to the grave, eventually drifting into the world. Master, I'm almost resting, where are you? Please wield me to cut down the giant dragon. Price: 1100 paradise coins. This item is a rule item and can be taken out of the pirate world. Longma was indeed a significant figure, a formidable force in the pirate world. Perhaps even Hawkeye Katakana middle. Mahawk, the current world's greatest swordsman, might not surpass him. A weapon of such a powerful man in his youth could not possibly be weak. Su Xiao even suspected that if this dragon slash hadn't been damaged, it might have been a green, or even a blue weapon. This was why Su Xiao was willing to risk turning against Hank just to get this knife. Fortunately, neither of them turned hostile, and this fraudulent friendship could continue for a while. You're lucky, this knife was seized from a pirate crew, and very few people besides me know it's a treasure. If I weren't bad with a sword and the warehouse didn't have a strict rule against choosing a second weapon, I would have taken this knife long ago. Su Xiao smiled without a word, simply tucking the dragon slash at his waist. With the blade on him, his combat strength increased significantly, making him feel more at ease. Let's go, something big is happening in 2 days, and we won't be idle then. Hank sighed, as if worried about something. What is it? Give me a hint so I can prepare too. In half a month, the world aristocrat celestial dragon people are coming to inspect Goa Kingdom, so the day after tomorrow, we have to clean up the scrap end station. 0 comments, 0 votes, send gifts. Chapter 9, Pierce Them. Hank's words made Su Xiao's eyes light up. He finally confirmed the current timeline, which was a scene from the original work, 3 days before the scrap end station was set on fire. This means that within the maximum time limit of his mission, the scrap end station will be incinerated. This was undoubtedly good news for Su Xiao. The more chaotic it was, the more opportunities he would have. He would be able to fish in troubled waters. Hank walked towards the warehouse door, as if remembering something, turned his head and said, "Our boss is named Brandon Oka. You're a member of the guard team now, how come you don't know the boss's name?" Su Xiao chuckled lightly and nodded his acknowledgement. The two walked out of the warehouse. By this time, the sky had already darkened, and the streets were full of weary pedestrians. Through casual conversation, Su Xiao discovered that the burly man he had seen before, who was now his superior, Brandon Oka, had been the leader of the guards for about 10 years. He has extensive connections and has been in contact with big and small officials in the royal palace, even having been summoned by the king. Hank's words were not entirely believable to Su Xiao, who suspected some flattery was involved. While it might be true that Brandon Oka had been the leader for 10 years, his supposed extensive connections were yet to be verified. Staying in a position for 10 years suggests that his superior might not be doing too well in the royal capital. Just as Hank was about to say goodbye and leave, Su Xiao spoke up proactively. "How about a drink? I've just arrived in the royal capital today and have a lot to ask you." Hank pretended to look troubled, but under Su Xiao's enthusiastic invitation, the two entered a tavern. After a few cups of rice wine, Hank's face was slightly flushed, and with the smell of alcohol, he became noticeably more talkative. "Let me tell you, if the boss hadn't been held back by something himself back then, he would have already been working in the royal palace by now. Who could the boss possibly run into that was worth running into, hic?" Hank hiccuped, stopping midway as if realizing he had said something wrong. Su Xiao picked up his glass and clinked it with Hank's. As Hank tilted back to drink, the wine in Su Xiao's hand disappeared without a trace. Drinking in this dangerous mission world was undoubtedly courting death, so Su Xiao had not drunk a single drop of wine. "Forget it, let's not talk about it. The boss lives a carefree life as it is now and often visits Joy Street, which makes one envious." Su Xiao made some casual remarks and poured Hank another cup. After several rounds of drinks, it was around 7 o'clock in the evening. Su Xiao parted from Hank at the tavern door, and the streets were already brilliantly lit. Su Xiao lit a cigarette, looking thoughtfully at Hank as he walked away through the billowing smoke. The other party had provided him a lot of information, and nighttime was the time for Su Xiao to act. Positioning his hand on the hilt of his blade at his waist, Xiao stopped a passerby. Although initially annoyed, the passerby became visibly apprehensive upon seeing Xiao's guard team uniform. "I'm trying to find out where Joy Street is." The passerby had a knowing smile that all men understood and then pointed Xiao in the right direction. The smile and the name, Joy Street, made Xiao think of what kind of place Joy Street might be. His superior really did have abundant energy. Dash 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 dash. As the evening lights came on, in a district dominated by pink and red lighting, the street's sides were lined with 2- or 3-story steep-roofed buildings. Their tops covered in glazed tiles, and lanterns hung at the front. The gentle sound of musical instruments mixed with laughter filled the street, with many men and women closely snuggled up together. On the balconies along the street, partially clothed women holding slender pipes could be seen, smiling seductively, trying to attract passing guests. This was Joy Street, the flower street of the pirate world. On the rooftop of a pavilion, Xiao, dressed in black, crouched at the top, holding the Zon Long flash. After entering the pirate world, Xiao hadn't really taken action until tonight, where he planned to assassinate his first target to lay the foundation for completing the mission. A hearty laugh echoed down the street. The somewhat familiar laughter immediately caught Xiao's attention. Wasn't the man laughing the same superior he had seen during the day? Following behind Brandon Oka were 2 guards, swaggering down Joy Street. The passers-by quickly moved to the side upon seeing Brandon Oka, appearing somewhat apprehensive. "Finally, he's here," Xiao hid on the rooftop, closely following Brandon Oka and his entourage. It wasn't long before Brandon Oka and his party entered a pavilion, and Xiao maneuvered through the night to reach the roof of that pavilion. After waiting for a moment, Xiao leapt from the rooftop, landing silently and immediately pressing against the wall to avoid detection. Using the cover of night and dim lighting, Xiao began searching room by room. He didn't need to use his eyes to search the rooms, sound alone sufficed. Xiao had specially trained for this ability and still remembered Brandon Oka's voice. After investigating 3 rooms, Xiao located his target, hearing conversation between a man and a woman inside the room. "When will you finally rescue me? Are you really willing to watch me accompany other men here?" "Soon, very soon. This is the left minister's business, it's not just a money issue. I've been trying hard. The left minister is someone close to the king." Xiao listened expressionlessly to the conversation in the room, but as the 2 continued speaking, their conversation became increasingly sappy, causing his brow to furrow. But now was not the time. Xiao needed to wait for Oka to be at his most vulnerable moment to deliver a fatal blow. Soon enough, the opportunity presented itself, with the attention of the nearby guards being somewhat diverted due to their conversation. Xiao slowly unsheathed the long knife at his waist, then gently pushed open the window, slipping into the room without making a sound. Within the room, a man and woman were closely embracing each other. Xiao chose this moment because only now would Oka lower his guard. Every step closer to Oka, Xiao was extraordinarily cautious, as silent as a leopard before pouncing. 5 meters, 3 meters, 1 meter. Xiao reached behind Oka, slowly raising the long knife in hand, the tip aimed at the side of Oka's neck. At this moment, Oka had his head turned towards Xiao, his line of sight elsewhere. Just then, the woman beside Oka seemed to sense something, but it was too late. Tightly gripping the knife's handle with one hand, Xiao drove it toward Oka's side neck with all his might. Plunge. The long knife pierced directly through Oka's throat, the sharp blade cutting through as though piercing a piece of paper, subsequently penetrating the woman next to Oka. If Xiao had only killed Oka, the woman beside him would have screamed immediately, drawing the guards into the room, placing Xiao in a precarious situation. The body attributes of civilians in the pirate world are quite strong, not to mention the guards. Without hesitation, he killed both with a single strike. This is also why Reincarnation Paradise chose him to become a hunter. Being a hunter requires not only special talent but also the courage and decisiveness to kill the enemy. 0 comments, 0 votes, send gifts. Chapter 10. The Heart's Longing for Strength. After Xiao's knife pierced through 2 people, he immediately noticed a faint red blood bar appear above Oka's head. No doubt, this represents Oka's remaining life value. His knife pierced through Oka's spine, putting the opponent in a pseudo-death state, not complete death. The so-called pseudo-death means the body has lost the ability to resist, but the brain is still alive. This was the first time Su Xiao saw a blood bar. When he killed the black market merchant before, the opponent was headshot by him, and no blood bar appeared at all. The blood bar is undoubtedly the advantage of semi-digitalization, allowing him to judge whether the enemy is dead and their approximate life value. Now, Oka has about 5% life value remaining, already on the edge of death. Pulling the long knife out from Oka's brain, Su Xiao gripped the knife with one hand, switching from a reverse to a forward grip, and slashed towards Oka's neck. Poochie. Blood spurted several meters high, and a few drops splashed on Su Xiao's cheek, making him look especially cold. After this slash, Oka's head flew up, and the blood bar was instantly emptied. You have killed the leader of the guards, Brandon Oka. Brandon Oka was an official of the Goa Kingdom, gaining 3.6% of the world source. You now have a total of 5.7% of the world source. Your talent, Soul Devourer, has been activated, permanently increasing mana value by 10 points, now with 75 mana value. Your talent, Soul Devourer, has been activated, permanently increasing mana value by 1 point, now with 76 mana value. With consecutive notifications, Su Xiao only briefly checked them. Killing Oka actually gained world source, which was unexpected for Su Xiao. If he kills a stronger enemy, the amount of world source gained will increase accordingly. If he kills the Navy Admiral Sengoku or the 4 emperors like Red Hair in the One Piece world, the amount of world source gained will definitely be an exaggerated number. But for now, it's just something to think about. Su Xiao can't even face such high-level powerful beings. Even if he could, he wouldn't make a move, as that would be suicidal. The current role of the world source is still unclear. Previously, Reincarnation Paradise only hinted that the world source relates to the reward he will receive when he leaves the pirate world after completing his task. This so-called reward should be the key to his growth. The pirate world indeed has many ways to become stronger, but all require time. He only has 72 hours in total, now only more than 60 hours left. Being able to complete the task within the time limit is already lucky enough. Su Xiao has no time to think about other things. As for miraculous items like the devil fruit, Su Xiao hasn't even considered them. Without a solid strength foundation, he simply doesn't qualify to seek or snatch a devil fruit. He's just an ordinary person with relatively strong physical attributes, fundamentally different from the strong ones in the pirate world. Under normal circumstances, Su Xiao's first world wouldn't be a high-risk world like One Piece. This is all because of his identity as a hunter. The current situation is like throwing a level 1 novice into a high-level map, where even the little monsters in this map are like bosses to Su Xiao. What Su Xiao has achieved so far is already far beyond a normal person. If it were an ordinary contractor, there's a high chance they would have died at the scrap end station outside the royal capital. Leaving aside the world source he obtained, the mana value he gained further confused Su Xiao. He doesn't have any ability to consume mana value, so no matter how much mana value he has, it's meaningless and doesn't help in combat. The beginning of everything is difficult, he still has to rely on himself. Above Oka's corpse, a white treasure chest floated up, identical to the one he opened before. Su Xiao picked up the treasure chest and directly stored it in the storage space, then quickly left the scene. He is now a guard, and this identity is crucial to him. Moreover, once outsiders find out about the killing of the guard leader, Oka, he will become a fugitive in the Goa Kingdom. At that point, let alone completing the task, just avoiding the soldiers of the Goa Kingdom would drive Su Xiao to distraction. The cool night breeze blew Su Xiao's black hair, gradually dissipating the bloody smell on him. Returning to the civilian house where he bathed during the day, Su Xiao checked the warning devices he set up earlier, a short twig and a few strands of hair. No one had come, it was very safe here. After entering the house, Su Xiao didn't turn on the light but sat in the dark bedroom and took out the treasure chest obtained from killing Oka. Treasure chest white open. Yes, no. Opening the treasure chest, a necklace appeared directly in Su Xiao's hand. You have opened the treasure chest white and obtained the following items. Gained 300 paradise coins. Gained Widow's Pendant. Widow's Pendant white. Origin: One Piece, Garrett Jewelry Company. Category: Jewelry. Jewelry type equipment is rare. Durability: None. Jewelry type equipment has no durability and doesn't require repair. Equipment requirements. Wearable by anyone. Equipment effect. Power +1. Rating. 8. Note. White equipment is rated from 1 to 10, with white equipment rated 10 marked as rare, carrying additional special attributes. Introduction. I love you like you love those little lovers, Oka's suicidal wife. Price. 1,600 paradise coins. Tightly holding the necklace, a smile appeared on Su Xiao's face. He finally found a way to become stronger. This gemstone necklace in his hand could actually increase his power. Taking a long breath, Su Xiao calmed down and put the widow's pendant around his neck. After checking his personal information again, his original 6 points of power had turned into 7 points. A stream of warmth rushed into his body, and Su Xiao clearly felt that his power had significantly increased. The power increased to 7 points didn't mean his power increased by 1/6, it had grown considerably. This means that increasing one attribute point brings a huge change, not as simple as 1 + 1. Reincarnation Paradise is truly a magical place. Su Xiao clenched his fists, his knuckles cracking, and the surging power roared within him. This feeling of suddenly becoming stronger made him somewhat intoxicated but not confused. Su Xiao knew clearly that the power increased by the necklace was just external, his actual power hadn't increased. Once the necklace was gone, his power attribute would decrease. The joy of power enhancement didn't cloud Su Xiao's mind. He immediately thought that the pendant was Oka's item, which might be recognized by others, and if so, it would cause trouble. As Su Xiao was troubling over this, he suddenly noticed a line of tiny text in his vision, very difficult to detect. Enable hidden equipment function. This feature costs 100 paradise coins and is a permanent ability. Su Xiao didn't understand the purchasing power of 100 paradise coins, but the paradise coins he had were earned through risking his life, so they were extremely precious. But this feature was very practical, so Su Xiao activated it decisively. You have activated the equipment hiding function, allowing you to freely hide worn equipment. Weapon type equipment cannot be hidden. The pendant on his neck gradually disappeared, but the power bonus remained, which made Su Xiao very satisfied. The 100 paradise coins spent were worth it. When Su Xiao first entered Reincarnation Paradise, there was some doubt in his mind about the unknown and powerful existence, wondering what its purpose might be. From the current situation, as long as he completes his tasks, Reincarnation Paradise will reward him. As for whether Reincarnation Paradise would harm him, Su Xiao wasn't too concerned about this question now. The fact that it could restore his fatal injury and transport him to the One Piece world all demonstrated the power of Reincarnation Paradise. Su Xiao doesn't have the habit of worrying unnecessarily. If Reincarnation Paradise wanted to harm him, why save him? Even if it's an exploitative relationship, Su Xiao can still gain benefits that are impossible to obtain in the real world, namely, becoming stronger. Maybe after completing his first task, Su Xiao will understand more about Reincarnation Paradise. For now, becoming stronger is the key. Weakness is original sin, and Su Xiao deeply understands this. If he was strong enough back then, he could have prevented that tragedy. A white ground stained with blood, shattered remains of bodies, and that. Su Xiao forcefully cut off his memories, his dark eyes wide open in the darkness. Lying on the bed without any sleepiness, Su Xiao forced himself to rest. There were many things to do tomorrow, and necessary rest would make him more energetic. The situation is now opened, and if everything goes smoothly, Su Xiao is confident in killing the king of the Goa kingdom. Not only must he kill him, but he must also retreat unscathed. He is merely executing a task, not an assassin for Reincarnation Paradise, and there's a fundamental difference between the two. An assassin is just a death warrior, but Su Xiao has a clear goal. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 11. One day. Early the next morning, Su Xiao woke up at dawn. He washed up and put on his guard uniform, then headed to the headquarters of the guard team. Before entering the headquarters, he saw a large number of guards bustling in and out, looking urgent. Hurry, Sir Oka was assassinated. This matter disturbed the left minister, and that lord ordered a city-wide hunt for the culprit. Hank was grief-stricken, as he commanded the large number of guards, but his eyes revealed something called ambition, as if he would be the boss after Oka's death. Su Xiao noticed two guards standing at the entrance of the headquarters, watching everything coldly. These two were the guards who had been following Oka the previous night. Needless to say, they were definitely Oka's trusted aides. This move by Hank might have already aroused suspicion in the two men, but it was indeed an opportunity. If operated properly, Hank might replace Oka's position. The guard team wasn't too large of a department. Aside from Oka, everyone else was just ordinary guards, and in fact, Oka was just a captain-type figure. As for the position of deputy captain, the guard team had never had one. Not only was it an additional expenditure, but Oka also wouldn't allow his power to be divided. Su Xiao already experienced Oka's arrogant character yesterday. The reason Su Xiao killed Oka was not that the other party acted like a boss in front of him. He now needed a rapid promotion, and with Oka alive, there was no suitable position. As for the interior of the royal palace, Su Xiao had no understanding and didn't want to get involved. The simpler the plan, the fewer the loopholes. He just needed a position that could get him in contact with the king and allow him to climb quickly. Tomorrow was the day to burn down the scrap end station. The royal palace wouldn't get involved in such disgraceful matters, they would only send people down the line to do it. Su Xiao had investigated that there were two forces of guards in the royal capital. One was the guard team responsible for the royal capital's security, and the other was the gatekeeper team responsible for guarding the city gates. Generally speaking, this kind of thing should be handed over to the gatekeeper team to handle. But when selecting weapons in the warehouse before, Su Xiao saw a large amount of explosives. From the traces in the warehouse, Su Xiao judged that those explosives had just been stored there recently, and their purpose was obvious. Setting fire was clearly not enough to ignite the fairly large scrap end station. Therefore, Su Xiao needed the position of leader of the guards. Whether he could meet the king would depend on his actions. Hank, what happened? Hank, who was directing the crowd, turned his head toward Su Xiao. The boss was assassinated, just last night. These guys just found out this morning. You're here just in time, come with me to see the left minister immediately. Su Xiao felt a chill in his heart. See the left minister. This Hank might have bad intentions. He had just become a guard yesterday, which was undoubtedly a weakness. Did he want him to become a scapegoat? Unlikely. While already contemplating how to deal with Hank, Su Xiao put on a smile. The left minister, that kind of big shot wants to see me. Su Xiao pretended to be puzzled but kept his eyes fixed on Hank. Yeah, the left minister wants to see you. As for the specific reason, I don't know either. Hank showed a look of envy, even some jealousy. This sudden good news left Su Xiao a bit surprised. He had no connection with the royal palace's high-level officials. The only possible link was that letter of introduction. It seemed that the letter of introduction was far more important than he imagined. Following Hank through several neighborhoods, Su Xiao arrived in front of a courtyard, where a luxurious villa appeared in his sight. Hank was a bit nervous, and timidly stepped forward. Two guards stopped Hank. Is this the person Lord wants to see? Hank quickly nodded, and the guards confiscated Hank's weapon. As for Su Xiao, all his weapons were in his storage space, which the guards couldn't discover. The guards led the way at the front, and Su Xiao entered a hall. Inside the hall, a family was having breakfast, with an elderly man full of white hair and a stern face sitting at the head. Upon seeing Hank, the old man casually put down the food in his hand and gestured for the others to leave, leaving only a brawny man standing behind the old man. The brawny man gave Su Xiao an extremely dangerous feeling. Although he was unarmed, Su Xiao noticed the thick calluses on his knuckles and the flat bones of those knuckles. This was a taijutsu expert, the personal guard of the elderly man. You're called Hank, right? Is this the new guard? The old man's speech was slow and composed, a person of high position and authority. Yes, sir. Hank was struggling to speak, very constrained. You may leave. The old man seemed somewhat dissatisfied with Hank's nervousness, not even looking directly at him. Hank kept his head down as he retreated to the door, then disappeared from Su Xiao's sight. I am the kingdom's left minister. Carlo has offered me many interesting collections, and as his nephew, I should have looked out for you. Unfortunately, Carlo had trouble leaving the city yesterday, and my collection fell through. I can't find him, so naturally, I turned to his nephew, which is you. Su Xiao deduced the general situation. Carlo was the black market merchant he killed yesterday. After Carlo's death, this left minister's patronage fell through. Unable to find Carlo, the left minister sought Su Xiao as a substitute. That black market merchant was truly unlucky, exploited by both the gatekeeper team and having to serve this left minister. In the current scenario, the other party wanted him to replace Carlo in acquiring goods. Su Xiao didn't understand the transaction between the two parties. If it weren't for the protection behind the other party, Su Xiao would have long since controlled this left minister. But such a chance to connect with kingdom's top levels was rare. The collection is no problem, I fully understand Uncle's channels. He was heavily injured yesterday and is recuperating, but... The left minister raised an eyebrow and said to Su Xiao. If you can get me the collections I need, you can state your conditions. I heard your captain died yesterday, accomplish this, and I'll make you guard captain. Half an hour later, Su Xiao left the left minister's courtyard, strolling down the street. Things were progressing smoothly, but the conditions proposed by the left minister gave Su Xiao a headache. Moreover, after the left minister proposed the conditions, a new task appeared in Reincarnation Paradise at the same time. Triggered side quest. Left minister's collection. Left minister's collection. Difficulty level. LV.2. Quest description. The left minister's collection is very rich, and any valuable collections will catch this greedy old man's eye. Quest information. Kill the owner of Mount Corvo and obtain its tooth. Owner of Mount Corvo. Pirate world's fierce wild beast, a large-sized feline animal. Quest deadline. Within 10 hours. Quest reward. Leader of the guard's identity. Failure penalty. Expulsion from the guard team and falsified charges leading to a warrant for arrest. Su Xiao understood what the owner of Mount Corvo was, a huge tiger that almost killed the young Luffy. He sighed deeply. After entering the pirate world, his opponents were all too strong, leaving Su Xiao feeling somewhat powerless. Someday, he wanted to carry his long knife and battle his way through, never being so timid again. But the pirate world was too dangerous, he didn't even have the right to risk his life. Still too weak, he must learn to be appropriately patient until he's strong. The owner of Mount Corvo was strong, at least not someone Su Xiao could confront head-on right now. But no matter how strong, it was just a beast. Not being able to contend directly didn't mean Su Xiao couldn't kill that tiger. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 12. Arrangement and Estimation. Walking on the streets of the royal capital, Su Xiao paid attention to the shops on both sides of the street until a shop called Dudeweeb Grocery Shop appeared in his sight, and his footsteps stopped. This was exactly the place he was looking for. Su Xiao walked into this business-declining grocery shop. Hey, guard sir, our shop paid the protection fee 3 days ago, how come? The gaze of the grocery shop owner seemed to view a plague god, it seemed they were often squeezed by the guard team in the past. I'm not here to collect protection fees, do you have a certain type of plant here? Half an hour later, Su Xiao left the grocery shop with a smile on his face, and the shop owner warmly sent him to the door. It seems Su Xiao bought quite a few things. Wanting to kill the master of Mount Corvo is definitely not simple. According to Su Xiao's memory, the size of that tiger was at least several times that of an ordinary tiger, with a height of 4 to 5 meters, making it a thorough beast. Su Xiao didn't go to the wild directly to find the master of Mount Corvo, but first returned to the guard headquarters. After wandering in the guard headquarters for a while, Su Xiao came to the warehouse where supplies were stored. Due to Oka's death, the guard team is now leaderless, and only after a morning, the guard team was showing signs of factionalism. Hank and Aoke's close confidants were forming two factions, engaging in both open and underhanded struggles. Tomorrow night is the time to incinerate Scrap End Station, so today, the higher-ups must select a new leader of the guards, otherwise, it will affect major events. In such chaos, Su Xiao easily infiltrated the warehouse, stayed there for a while, then left the guard team, heading in the direction of Mount Corvo. Looking at the distant city gate, Su Xiao previously infiltrated from this gate, and now he wanted to leave the city very simply, just need to walk forward openly. The members of the gatekeeper team, upon seeing Su Xiao, nodded to him and let him pass without questioning at all. After passing through the city gate and voicing the Scrap End Station, Su Xiao saw a large forest. This is Mount Corvo, the place where the original protagonist Luffy grew up. Walking into the forest, Su Xiao clearly felt the air here was fresher. filled with the aura of various plants, with some unknown birds chirping nonstop on branches, and occasionally some docile herbivores passing through the vegetation, not too afraid of humans. Although Mount Corvo is picturesque, it is also equally dangerous, with beasts often appearing, and generally, people dare not venture deep inside. Walking in the deserted forest, Xiao kept his hand on the sword handle, appearing relaxed but actually vigilant about the rustling and swaying surroundings. The surrounding dense forest is not suitable to be Xiao's hunting ground. He needed a clearing. A clearing doesn't need to be large, but it must meet the following 2 points. The first point is to have a water source, as the Goa kingdom is located on an island. Lacking water is the most common situation, so Mount Corvo doesn't have much water source. Finding water would greatly increase the chances of finding the great tiger. The second point is that there needs to be vegetation coverage on the clearing, making it more convenient for him to set traps. Of course, the trap Xiao set is definitely not just digging a pit to lure Mount Corvo's master to fall into. The soil layer of Mount Corvo is not very hard, and such a large-sized creature, unless the pit walls are poured with concrete, will certainly collapse, leading to a dead end with no escape. It's not easy to find the trap arrangement point Xiao wanted, but the heavens help those who help themselves. After 3 hours of hard search, Xiao finally found a satisfactory terrain. It's a clearing surrounded by trees, covered in lush green grass, with colorful wildflowers growing, emanating a faint floral fragrance. Upon smelling the floral scent, Xiao frowned, as it might affect his plan to some extent, but there are pros and cons. Floral fragrance can cover the scent of arranging certain items. Retrieving a shovel from the storage space, Xiao took off his shirt and began digging pits in the clearing. 2 hours later, Xiao hid on a big tree near the clearing, which looked completely normal, with just a few randomly placed dried fruits on the ground. Sweat dripped down Xiao's cheeks, revealing well-defined muscles after going shirtless. His muscles were not exaggerated, appearing smooth. Actually, those muscle-bound strong men aren't suitable for combat. Strong muscles indeed enhance power but also affect speed and flexibility, being very disadvantageous in fighting. Xiao had attempted. He once visited a famous boxing gym, sparred with their strongest fighting coach. According to Xiao's estimate, that muscle-bound fighting coach's strength was at least double his own, and the punch speed was very fast. Yet in just 5 minutes, that coach, reportedly a city freestyle fight champion, collapsed on the ground, twitching continuously, his miserable moans evoking sympathy from some female trainees. Xiao honed the skill of killing, but that fighting coach practiced competing. There is an essential difference between the two. If rules were set, Xiao might not be an opponent, but if they fought to the death, Xiao could kill the other within 2 minutes. Upon seeing Xiao's approximately 1.8 meter, not very strong physique, the coach remarked, "No need for rules in sparring," so he invited disaster. Xiao sat on a thick tree branch, holding the old flintlock pistol, which still had 3 bullets. Xiao previously attempted to load this gun, but Reincarnation Paradise hinted, due to severe wear, loading bullets might cause the entire gun to break and become unusable. This probably is a kind of restriction, as Xiao picked up this gun and did not acquire it from a treasure chest. After opening 2 white treasure chests, Xiao roughly understood some rules of Reincarnation Paradise. Items acquired through treasure chests are mostly rule-bound and can be taken out of the pirate world, while picked up or obtained during tasks items have a certain chance to be brought out, like the Zonlong flash, on his waist. Through initial exploration, Xiao reached some conclusions. The semi-digitalization of organisms served only as an indication, like the notion of his strength increasing from 6 to 7, straightforwardly showing his enhancement. As for life value kinds of things, they are basically unquantifiable, at most calculated as a percentage, and won't show how much health an enemy loses with each slash. The blood bar above enemies indicates their life signs. The more it loses, the weaker the enemy becomes. Upon receiving fatal damage, the enemy will die outright. Even if 100% life value is left, the blood bar would be emptied, resulting in death afterward. Data word for equipment or items is even more interesting. For instance, his waist weapon, Zonlong flash, durability, and additional attributes were comprehensible, and attack power, 5 to 16, referred to this weapon's sharpness and attack strength. Equipment rating is the most critical data. From the rating, one could intuitively see an item's value. After several battles, Su Xiao understood that although semi-digitalized, it is merely a convenient estimation of strength, and everything conforms to reality with no gamification. Semi-digitalization serves to provide an intuitive reflection of his strength and item value. This is the greatest help Reincarnation Paradise offers Su Xiao. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 13. Weaknesses of Feline Animals. Being partially data-driven has many advantages, such as allowing him to intuitively understand his own strength. Thinking this way, the method to become stronger is not complicated at all, just improve all the attributes of the body while also enhancing combat capabilities. No matter how strong the attributes are, if they cannot be utilized in battle, they're completely meaningless. Moreover, Su Xiao speculates that if he can be teleported to the pirate world, he will certainly be teleported to other worlds, giving him plenty of opportunities to become stronger then. His current attributes are Power 7 points, Agility 7 points, Stamina 5 points, Intelligence 6 points, Charm 3 points, and Luck, only a pitiful 1 point. The use of power and speed attributes is self-explanatory, extremely intuitive, and closely related to his close combat ability. Stamina represents the strength of life energy and resistance, while intelligence is related to magic, whose role is not clear at present. Charm is even more perplexing. Could it mean that increasing charm would make him more handsome? Su Xiao shook his head. The charm attribute should not be like this, it should enhance social or summoning types. As for the last luck attribute, it should be a very important attribute, extremely game-changing, but likely very difficult to increase. Su Xiao is skilled with the sword, and his future development may be related to attributes such as power and agility. He has not yet determined a development direction because, after all, this is the first derivative world he has experienced, and it's too early to consider this kind of question. While Su Xiao was thinking, distant branches and snapping sounds came from the forest as a massive wild beast was approaching. Here it comes. Approaching is none other than the owner of Mount Corvo, a massive giant tiger. This giant tiger is similar in appearance to an ordinary tiger, just much larger, over 4 meters tall, and at least 7 or 8 meters long, bigger than an elephant on Earth, as big as a house. The giant tiger's deep yellow fur is extremely textured, shiny, reflecting a faint glow under the bright sunlight. Su Xiao hid in the tree, intently staring at the giant tiger below, even lowering his breathing. This kind of beast might sense even the slightest sound, so Su Xiao was exceptionally cautious. After approaching the trap set by Su Xiao, the giant tiger's nose twitched, as if it smelled danger, unwilling to approach the trap. But the dried fruits on the trap have a fatal attraction to this giant tiger. These dried fruits were bought by Su Xiao at the Royal City grocery store, known as Mutianji. Mutianji is a dried fruit unique to the pirate world, and in the real world, there is a plant with a similar effect to Mutianji, which is catnip. Although the owner of Mount Corvo is enormous, it cannot overcome the instinct of feline animals and has no resistance to Mutianji, similar to catnip. One must know, catnip is nicknamed cat drug addiction, and has a fatal attraction to most feline animals. Seeing the drooling gaze of the giant tiger, Su Xiao knew that his plan was successful. The giant tiger paced around the trap, very cautiously. It smelled a strange odor but didn't detect danger. Finally, under the temptation of Mutianji, the giant tiger gradually approached the center of the trap. The giant tiger first proceeded cautiously for a few steps, then suddenly stopped, actually beginning to turn its head and scan around. Su Xiao's eyes twitched slightly on the tree, sighing in his heart that the animals of the pirate world have a much higher intelligence than ordinary wild beasts. Judging from the giant tiger's behavior, its intelligence is at least equivalent to a 10-year-old child, or even higher. Time flowed by like sand through fingers. A long standoff began, which was a contest of patience. Finally, the owner of Mount Corvo couldn't resist the temptation of Mutianji and leapt forward. Boom! Dust rose, and the owner of Mount Corvo took all the Mutianji on the ground into its mouth and began to chew. The taste of Mutianji isn't good, not only bitter but also very astringent, but the owner of Mount Corvo chewed it with relish. After chewing for a while, the owner of Mount Corvo began to react, switching from lying down to rolling on its back, rubbing its back on the grass. The owner of Mount Corvo began to roll over. After a house cat eats a large amount of catnip, this is the reaction it has, experiencing hallucinations and rolling around on the ground. Although the owner of Mount Corvo looks mighty, it cannot suppress this instinct, and from the constantly drooling mouth corner, it can be seen, it is currently trapped in a hallucination. The time is ripe. Su Xiao raised the flintlock gun in his hand, aiming at the ground under the giant tiger. That's right, the ground. The flintlock gun in his hand, even if aimed at the eye of the owner of Mount Corvo and fired, wouldn't kill the giant tiger, only injure it, and with his spear ability, he couldn't guarantee a hit to the giant tiger's eye. In the soil beneath the giant tiger, Su Xiao buried a large amount of explosives. And on top of the explosives, he did some other work, enough to make the giant tiger suffer. He outstretched his arm and pulled the trigger of the flintlock gun. Bang! A gunshot echoed through the forest, breaking its peace and startling a large flock of birds. With the burning of the gunpowder's explosion, a scorching bullet flew from the muzzle, pushing air waves in the air, spinning into the soil, breaking a green weed, fragmented leaves splashing. The red-hot bullet first penetrated the surface soil, then entered the buried gunpowder barrel underground, where the high temperature of several hundred degrees instantly ignited the gunpowder. This sudden gunshot made the owner of Mount Corvo, who was rolling on the ground, shiver and immediately want to get up and run, but it was too late. Boom! A loud noise spread through the forest. All animals within a kilometer shuddered in fright, looking towards the source of the sound. More than a dozen barrels of explosives buried underground were successively detonated, forming a chain explosion, the loud noise converging into one sound. The ground where the owner of Mount Corvo was located erupted, dirt splattered in a radiating pattern, spraying around, amidst which some nails could be vaguely seen, placed on the gunpowder barrels by Su Xiao to increase the damage of the explosion. The owner of Mount Corvo, a massive creature weighing several tons, was lifted by the explosion's impact force as high as 3 meters, and hundreds of nails deeply embedded into its body with the help of the explosion's impact. Roar! A piercing tiger roar came, but the nightmare did not end here. Flames surged skyward, engulfing the owner of Mount Corvo in midair, as a rush of burnt fur smell emanated. Bang! The owner of Mount Corvo fell to the ground, and the thick smoke produced by the gunpowder explosion swallowed the giant tiger, still hearing crackling burning sounds within. Su Xiao stood atop a distant tree, coldly watching all of this, but his expression was not good. It's not that he had an attack of sympathy, he had long since fed such things to the dogs. The reason for his grim expression was that the giant tiger was not dead, at least Reincarnation Paradise didn't give any prompt. The plan was executed smoothly, but the strength of pirate world creatures is daunting. Jumping down from the tree, the shirtless Su Xiao drew the Zon Long flash from his waist, holding the sword single-handedly as he walked towards the smoke. If it can't be blown to death, then it will be cut to death. As long as there is a trace of hope for victory, he has the courage to fight, he's never been afraid of battle. From a certain angle, Su Xiao is a person who is passionate about combat. The feeling of life and death on the line during a fight allows him to forget hatred, forget past misfortunes, and be fully committed to the battle until the enemy is slaughtered. 0 comments, 0 votes, send gifts. Download the app for greater interaction. You can chat with me about my writing experience apart from the comments section. Download app now. Chapter 14. The Beauty of Battle. Thick smoke rose to the sky, and the stench of gunpowder mixed with the burning smell of fur, creating a strange odor that caused Su Xiao to frown deeply. His view was obscured by the dense smoke, making it impossible for him to determine the exact position of the giant tiger. Roar! An angry tiger roar came from within the thick smoke. Hearing the roar, Su Xiao was highly focused, but his whole body's muscles remained relaxed. Tensing muscles would lead to delayed movements, causing deadly flaws during combat. The long knife in his hand naturally hung down, the tip touching the ground. The giant tiger had not yet appeared, hiding within the thick smoke, but Su Xiao could feel it had already discovered him. A strong wind blew through the jungle, dispersing the rising smoke. It was at this moment that a massive figure, with some lingering smoke, burst out from the dense smoke. It was the giant tiger. The giant tiger that appeared in Su Xiao's sight no longer looked as majestic as before. Large patches of fur were scorched, the burned fur clinging to the skin with glowing embers still flickering. The massive body was also riddled with wounds, countless metal spikes embedded in the flesh and skin. The most severe injury was to one of the tiger's eyes, surrounded by metal spikes, with black and red liquid oozing from the eye socket. Seeing the giant tiger's injuries, Su Xiao smiled. such wounds would reduce the tiger's combat strength by at least 90%, even if it didn't die. His trap was very effective. Indeed, humans are the most dangerous creatures in nature. The giant tiger charged at Su Xiao with a whistling wind, reaching him in just a few strides. Compared to the massive tiger, Su Xiao was not even as tall as its front leg. Yet for some reason, Su Xiao's heart began to race. The giant opponent somewhat excited him. Before the tiger could charge at him, Su Xiao pushed forcefully off the ground, scattering dried leaves as he rushed to meet the tiger, slashing at its front paw with his long knife. Squish! Blood splattered as a wound was carved into the tiger's front paw. Zon Long Flash, with a rating of 10, effortlessly cut through the tiger's outer skin, deeply cleaving into the muscle beneath. The tiger roared in pain. The previous explosive injuries had left it somewhat sluggish, and its brain still slightly dazed. As the tiger prepared to counterattack, Su Xiao leapt to the side, positioning himself at the blind spot created by the tiger's blind eye on its left side. Two millstone-sized tiger paws swiped continuously forward, the claws gleaming with a metallic sheen. If Su Xiao were caught, the consequences would be dire, yet the tiger couldn't touch him in the slightest. Seizing the opportunity, Su Xiao stepped forward, both hands gripping the knife's hilt, delivering another slash to the tiger's claw. Attacking the tiger's paw was a matter of necessity. At least 4 meters tall, it was extremely difficult to target vital areas such as the throat or head. With the threat of the two claws, Su Xiao dared not recklessly attack the tiger's vulnerable parts. But that wasn't an issue. There were a few hours left before the deadline for the side mission, giving Su Xiao time, unlike the giant tiger. After just a short battle, the ground nearby was stained with blood. It wouldn't be long before the tiger would collapse from blood loss, then it would be at his mercy. The tiger also realized this. Its one eye glared hatefully at Su Xiao while it began to consider retreating. Wild beasts are like this. In extremely adverse circumstances, most will choose to flee unless cubs need protection behind them. Avoiding harm is as much a beast's nature as it is a human's, more so given this tiger's high intelligence. The tiger panted heavily, claws digging deeply into the ground, ready to flee at any moment. With the battle at such a degree, how could Su Xiao let the tiger escape after spending valuable time setting up traps? Just as the tiger showed signs of retreat, Su Xiao unleashed a continuous slash with Zon Long Flash, leaving several bloody gashes on the tiger's body. Seeing the tiger's health bar at just 8%, it was surely doomed. In Reincarnation Paradise, there was no case of becoming berserk, with health below 10%. When health drops below 10%, any creature becomes extremely weak. Never mind going berserk, the tiger could barely run now, its attacks chaotic and solely focused on escaping. On the 6th attempt by the tiger to flee, Su Xiao drove his long knife into its hind leg, gripping the hilt with both hands, fiercely pulling outward. The sound of the blade slicing through muscle was distinct, as Su Xiao felt the mild vibration through the knife handle from the flesh tearing apart. With a wail, a deep wound appeared on the tiger's hind leg. Before its blood could fill the wound, Su Xiao saw a severed tendon inside. With the tendon cut, the tiger lost any chance of running away. It was doomed today. Perhaps the tiger realized this too, changing its demeanor and continuously roaring threateningly at Su Xiao. Su Xiao stood before the giant tiger, his bare chest stained with tiger blood. The slippery and warm feeling of the fresh blood stimulated Su Xiao's ferocity, making him seem particularly fierce at that moment. Facing this beast the size of a house, Su Xiao laughed softly. The master of Mount Corvo had dominated the mountain for many years, fearing no creature. But at this moment, this giant beast felt a little afraid of Su Xiao because this smiling human might take its life. Roar! A roar tinged with anger and fear echoed across Mount Corvo. Su Xiao, moving agilely, charged at the giant tiger, frequently shifting his position. The tiger flattened its body, seemingly ready to fight Su Xiao to the death. A tiger claw, carrying a rancid gust, swung towards Su Xiao's face, fast and fierce. This giant tiger had concealed its speed until this dying moment to deliver a lethal blow to Su Xiao. If hit by this claw, even if he survived by luck, Su Xiao would have no choice but to flee. Although Su Xiao appeared to have the upper hand, that was not the case. The gap in strength between him and the tiger was too wide. Even after several slashes, the tiger's health bar had only reduced by about 1%, hardly significant, considering the tiger was quickly losing blood. But if he took a direct hit from the tiger's claw, the battle might end. With the deadly claw almost upon him, Xiao continued his forward momentum, seemingly choosing to meet it head-on. As the claw was about to strike, Xiao spread his legs, dropping into a kneeling stance, lowering his center of gravity, his whole body leaning backward. The tiger claw, with its heavy metallic scent of blood, swept past the tip of Xiao's nose, the wind raising his hair. Kneeling on the leafy ground, Xiao narrowly evaded the tiger's claw. With a palm on the ground, Xiao leapt up, now directly under the tiger's head, exposing its vulnerable throat. Xiao wasn't going to be polite, taking a direct slash. Blood gushed out in torrents, enveloping Xiao in a bloodbath. While Xiao and the tiger fought desperately, a small figure was crouched behind a distant bush, appearing to be a child from the size. So strong. The shrubbery rustled, and the child's head peeked out from the bush, with a few green leaves perched on top of their straw hat. 0 comments 0 votes send gifts. Chapter 15. Elite Creatures. After Xiao slashed out with this nearly fatal strike, the giant tiger's body began to collapse, its massive form pressing towards him. Under the giant tiger, Xiao felt a shadow looming over his head and quickly realized something was wrong, rolling to the side. Boom! Dust surged up as the giant tiger collapsed to the ground, seemingly dead. Covered in blood, Xiao stood up, cautiously eyeing the fallen giant tiger. He didn't move closer because the blood bar above the giant tiger's head still had 5% of its life value remaining. The master of Mount Corvo wasn't dead. This clever giant tiger actually knew how to play dead to paralyze Xiao. What a clever beast! With a flick of his long knife, the blood staining the blade was flung away, forming a semicircular splatter on the ground. Huff! Heavy panting could be heard. Although they had exchanged only a few blows, it was filled with peril, causing Xiao to expend a lot of stamina. His physique is 5 points, which means his endurance isn't strong, just on par with an average person. In the real world, improving by even 1 attribute point is extremely difficult. Xiao's rigorous training over 3 years only allowed him to increase by 1 point in strength and 2 points in agility. With just these 3 points above the average person, Xiao already had the power to crush ordinary people, demonstrating the significant change brought by each attribute point increase. 1 minute, 2 minutes, human and tiger began to stalemate. The master of Mount Corvo continued to play dead, and Xiao didn't attack either. He needed to recover some stamina now. The giant tiger lying in the pool of blood suddenly opened its single eye, showing some despair and unwillingness. It's hard to imagine that a wild beast would express such complex emotions, but it's not surprising since animals in the pirate world tend to have higher intelligence. In a desert nation within the pirate world, there is even a lecherous camel that only carries women. The master of Mount Corvo struggled to stand, its single eye fixed on Xiao, blackish red blood trickling from its mouth. Having recovered some stamina, Xiao slowly approached the master of Mount Corvo. Roar! A threatening low growl echoed, and simultaneously, a tiger claw tentatively swiped at Xiao. Xiao immediately retreated, but approached again after a few seconds. He chose not to fight head-to-head with the giant tiger in front of him. Xiao knew clearly that even in its current state, the giant tiger still had the power to kill him. The tier position of the pirate world was too high, so Xiao could only proceed cautiously. Seeing Xiao stalling for time, the master of Mount Corvo felt complete despair. It had encountered an experienced hunter. Shaking its limbs, the master of Mount Corvo struggled to stand straight, then let out an earth-shattering roar. This might be its final roar in the forest. After roaring, the master of Mount Corvo dragged its wrecked body and lunged directly at Xiao, caring neither for the sharp blade in his hand nor for its shattered internal organs. Boom, boom! With the charging of Mount Corvo's master, the ground within several hundred meters lightly trembled. It's coming, the beast in front of him was making a desperate counterattack. The momentum of Mount Corvo's master was indeed dazzling, but its battered body rendered its strength insufficient. The attack it chose was simple, just to bite, opening its maw wide to bite Xiao head-on. But due to the injured tendon in its hind leg, the master of Mount Corvo couldn't run far before tumbling to the ground, its pouncing motion transforming from an attack into a sacrifice. The gaping tiger mouth reached in front of Xiao, surprising him, but his hands moved swiftly, thrusting the knife forward. Zon long flash, first pierced through the soft oral cavity of the giant tiger, then passed through a layer of bone, embedding deeply into the giant tiger's brain. Zon long flash, as a rating 10 piece of white equipment, was among the finest of white equipment, surpassing even some green equipment. Its sharpness was absolutely reliable. From such a grievous injury, the giant tiger's eyes finally began to dim, the blood bar above its head rapidly dropping to the lowest point, on the verge of emptying. Sustaining such injuries, the giant tiger still wasn't dead, its life energy was astonishing. What happened next was completely unexpected. The giant tiger he had pierced through the brain instead actively pushed its body forward, causing the blade to stab deeper into the brain. However, Su Xiao's face turned grim. As the giant tiger moved forward, his arm entered the range of the tiger's bite. The tiger's jaws snapped shut, and Su Xiao's right arm was caught in the bite of the giant tiger. He immediately felt his knife-wielding right arm pierced by sharp fangs, first a feeling of numbness, then piercing pain. Even though his entire arm began to numb, Su Xiao didn't let go of the Zon long flash in his hand. Cold sweat dripped down his temple as Su Xiao's free left hand reached for a flintlock gun. Pressing the flintlock gun against the giant tiger's single eye, Su Xiao pulled the trigger. Bang! The single eye exploded, bodily fluid splattering everywhere. This shot was the final straw. The giant tiger's blood bar emptied, and the bloodthirsty mouth around Su Xiao's arm loosened, allowing him to pull his arm out. The spot on his upper right arm was a bloody mess. He tried moving the arm, and thankfully, the bone wasn't hurt. Painful, but no bone damage. Despite appearing severe, the bite from the giant tiger wasn't overly damaging in reality. You have killed the elite creature, Master of Mount Corvo. The Master of Mount Corvo is an elite creature, obtaining 3.2% of World Source, now having a total of 8.9% of World Source. Your talent, Soul Eater, has activated, permanently increasing 15 mana value, currently at 91 mana value. The prompt from Reincarnation Paradise relaxed Su Xiao a bit. The Master of Mount Corvo was completely dead. Blood loss and fatigue left Su Xiao weak, slumping to the ground. Taking a cigarette from the storage space, he lit it with a snap, a wisp of smoke floating upward. Hey, hee. Su Xiao, covered in blood, sat on the grass, shoulders trembling as he bowed his head. He had become addicted to the life and death feeling in battle. The victor lives, the defeated dies, cruel yet simple. Exhaling a puff of smoke, Su Xiao looked at the giant tiger's corpse. Above the giant tiger's corpse floated a light green treasure chest, its alluring green glow flashing. Covered in blood, Su Xiao stood up with difficulty. This was his first time seeing a green treasure chest. Opening a white treasure chest granted him such a miraculous piece of equipment as the dead wife's pendant. What could be gained from a treasure chest more precious than a white one? Su Xiao felt a burning excitement, but now was not the time. In this forest filled with unknowns, other dangers could appear at any time. Blood had tainted a large area near the ground, and the scent could attract other wild beasts. Su Xiao put away the green treasure chest, knocked out all the tiger teeth with the knife hilt, and prepared to wash up in a nearby water source. But at this moment, there was a subtle sound from a bush more than 10 meters away from him. Su Xiao's gaze became sharp instantly, gripping the Zon long flash tightly as he looked toward the bush. Who's there? Come out! Su Xiao shouted firmly. If there were wild beasts in the bushes, there would definitely be a reaction. But contrary to expectations, the bushes remained silent, making him more alert. There might be someone in those bushes.